Welcome back, and we're going to talk a little bit on the Uyghur obnoxious cam again. But this time I don't have to hold it because it's on a tablet, which I don't really use as much as I should because it's much better than holding the phone up to my face. So before we go any further, please like, subscribe, and share the video. And let's get right to it. Joe Biden is being reported by the media to be almost assuredly going to enter the race for 2020. And there's also a lot of reports that Beto O'Rourke is also, for some reason, going to be trying to run for president. And I think we should talk a little bit about the effect of either person on the race. I would say that it's pretty obvious for everyone who's normal that Joe Biden, on paper, would be a very, very good candidate for the Democrats in terms of electability, because, of course, he was a good asset to the Obama administration during their campaigns. Or, sorry, to the Obama campaign during their campaigns. But yes, to the administration. Joe Biden does does do well with crowds, and he's a very gregarious character, of course. And people talk about, the baggage with, all those tapes of him groping kids on video or whatever. That stuff is useful, but remember, there's a lot of people who have literally they don't want to see something even though it's proof of something bad. I actually remember a couple months ago, I showed video of it to somebody on a thread, and that person said, "Well, I don't even care if he's touching kids. He's still better than Donald Trump." I'm like, what the? you have proof there, and you still because you don't like somebody else, you're not willing to accept proof that somebody is disgusting and awful. Yeah, Joe Biden would be, I think that electorally, on paper, he would be very good. But there are a lot of drawbacks to him that people don't like to discuss. And maybe when I do the candidate video, and I've done candidate videos on Elizabeth Warren, which I need to do a part 2 for that, on Julian Castro, on Tulsi Gabbard, who's the other one? Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. I've done, I guess, on 6 candidates now, if I'm counting correctly. So Joe Biden's going to come eventually. I still have to do Bernie Sanders. But yeah, Joe Biden, I'll tell you what are some of the key factors with Joe Biden. And, I'm assessing this I'm trying to stay above the fray just for a second, okay? This is a guy who brings to the table the fact that he was a senator for a couple decades. He was on the House. He was on the Senate Judiciary Committee. He's a very experienced guy. But really, the reason that he would do well is because of his association with Barack Obama. He was his vice president, and the thing that you might want to remember is that what's Barack Obama best at when it comes to politics? It's not at getting his friends elected. It's at getting them not nominated. People that are Obama acolytes usually can depend on a lot of the voters just, just going along with the flow, saying, "Yeah, I'll vote for that person if Obama shows up at the event." That's one of the reasons that Hillary Clinton was able to. Actually, I don't know if Barack Obama actually campaigned for her during the nomination, but if he would have, I'm pretty sure that it would have been a little more difficult for Bernie Sanders to have won as many votes, because as much as people love Bernie Sanders, the same people are not always willing to attack Barack Obama. Some people are, some people kind of shy away from it because Obama is still looked upon as a transcendent figure, even approaching the far left. A lot of people on the far left have disowned him. Cornel West, for example, disowned him a few years ago, and There's a number of people. Chris Hedges disowned him. There were a number of people, and rightfully so. I think that those people on the left, they recognized that he did not actually fulfill their vision of an anti-war presidency. Okay, that's not something that I think you can begrudge of them. So a lot of these people though will soon, if Barack Obama goes and campaigns on behalf of Joe Biden, you could see some of the people who are a little further along the road and are saying, well, we want somebody who's going to really change the party. No, there could be a few that flock back to the Obama side. There have been very few, if you think about it, like successful progressive campaigns on a statewide basis in the country, even considering Bernie Sanders' run in 2016. Look at it this way, okay? There was Andrew Gillum in Florida. Okay, he was he was a success, and Barack Obama supported him in the nomination. I think he did. Bernie Sanders also supported him. He failed to win the election. You had Stacey Abrams. I believe Stacey Abrams was actively supported by Obama throughout, and she lost the election. But so Obama is very good at getting people nominated. He's very good at getting people nominated. He's very good at getting people into key positions in the Democratic Party. That's why Tom Perez is the head of the DNC. You have to remember that. So Tom Perez is basically Obama's puppet in the DNC. The deputy DNC chair doesn't exist anymore because Keith Ellison, for those of you that didn't know, first of all, he didn't have any power to begin with, but he's moved on to becoming, he's been elected Attorney General of Minnesota, so he's gone. So Obama could probably put his thumb on the scale pretty easily within the DNC, and he could easily buy the loyalty of a lot of these Hillary fans, who I think must be trying to preserve any power that they have in the party. And yeah, they're going to put their thumb on the scale and help Joe Biden in any way they can. And some of these ways are above board, and some of these ways are some of these methods are pretty much, I don't know why this lamp is making the light fluctuate here. Some of these methods, by the way, are pretty shady, and we've talked about them last year with the Mattis file, and we're going to keep talking about them and keep investigating them. But essentially, what you have to know is that Bernie Sanders is going to have to fight against Joe Biden with one hand tied behind his back. And it's going to be pretty funny watching him try to outmaneuver a guy who's got the entire DNC establishment completely on his side, much of the media on his side. Now, a lot of people will say, well, back in 2016, you had all these Clinton bots that were hampering Bernie Sanders. I don't think that Joe Biden is quite as much of a disaster for the Democrats, for centrist Democrats, as was Hillary Clinton, because she simply has no charisma among people. Joe Biden does. Okay, now, could Bernie still win? Yeah, I think he could still win. I don't think that Joe Biden has a clear path to nomination if he runs. I think it's been made a little easier over the past month because a lot of the people who came into the race as sort of the centrists, such as Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, have steadily moved pretty far to the left and clouded the field on the left. So you have all these people on the far left of the party, such as Sanders, such as Warren. Now people are talking about Kamala Harris, talking about universal health care as well as reparations and stuff like that. Those are all positions that put them well to the left of Joe Biden at the moment. So whether you're a progressive or not, you have to admit that Joe Biden is almost by himself at the center as far as the voters are concerned. You might say, well, in reality, a lot of these people aren't true progressives, Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. It doesn't matter. We're talking about perception. We're not talking about reality. So yeah, I think for Joe Biden, it's going to be a very easy. It's going to be a very easy job to paint himself as the more responsible person. For those of those of you that are leftists are not going to care what I'm saying, but Joe Biden will come across as a more presidential, more respectable candidate, even though he shouldn't be. And then Bernie Sanders is going to be, he obviously has a very loyal fan base, but he's kind of bunched together with a bunch of these, bunched together with a number of these idiots who are fake, and they're going to be sapping from his from his voter total. It's going to be difficult for him to really distinguish himself because there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to be playing. Well, we're really more leftist than Bernie Sanders. We'll give reparations even for people. We'll pay reparations even for dead people that vote. You know, it's going to be kind of strange. Beto O'Rourke, not going to talk too much about him today, but yeah, he is he's a weird candidate. I'm not sure how his appeal continues to be so strong because people now know that he lost in a statewide election against Ted Cruz, and he's basically running as the anti-borders candidate. He's really going to have a difficult time because think about it this way, okay? Joe Biden, I think, would be competitive at least in every state. He would be competitive and kind of draw a large share of the votes. So it's good for him. Even in states that he's going to lose, Joe Biden is at least going to take away some delegates. Okay, that's how winning works in the Democratic primaries. Beto O'Rourke is going to have a much harder time. I don't think that people are going to want to vote for him over in Iowa. New Hampshire is a good question. But I think Bernie Sanders will probably romp in New Hampshire. Last time I think he ran and won pretty handily. South Carolina is not a good state for him. I think that the first state that Beto O'Rourke could possibly win a good number of votes is Nevada, which I think is before South Carolina on the calendar. I don't remember precisely. Yeah, Beto O'Rourke is going to have a difficult time, and then come the primary in Texas, which I think is in mid-March or something. I have to check the calendar again. He has a rivalry right now within Texas with another Democrat, Julian Castro. So that's going to be difficult for him. So I see Beto O'Rourke's chances of capturing the nomination as not that good. Although we haven't had a single debate yet. So, things could change and one person could really set themselves apart on there. Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar is as centrist as you can find them. I don't think she's going to win. It's almost impossible to see her winning. But Joe Biden, you could see him winning. In the general, in the race against Trump, I don't see any of these people being great, but you have to see the way that the interaction goes. I certainly have more confidence in Trump to get them to look ridiculous than they have in him, because the people who hate Trump are the ones who already hate him. You're not going to get a lot of people to jump off of the bandwagon at this point. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Also subscribe to me on BitChute and on Cocoscope, and I'll talk to you later. Also on Minds and on Gab.